We're joined by Congressman Rob Andrews of New Jersey, who has the distinction of being one of those members who can uniquely work across the aisles. Let me ask you this. What frustrates you the most about Washington right now? If anything at all, what frustrates you?
Campaign finance.
Why is that?
Because I think members of Congress spend most of their time raising money rather than working hard on the issues.
What frustrates you the most?
They've allowed Washington and the government to become so broken that they don't have a solution. They really don't have a solution.
Michael?
The spending. Stop the damn spending, and then don't use the money to also buy, bribe, or coerce your own legislation.
One more in the back. What bothers you the most?
The gridlock. Nothing can get done without any cooperation, and it's not working.
The challenge right now is that you've got a Republican House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic President. And they complain that nothing ever gets done. How do you get something done?
I think the challenge is more people have got to be unafraid to lose an election.
You guys agree with that?
I think a lot of the frustration you're hearing about is that people want to vote the party line because they're afraid of losing a primary. Let me give you an example in my own case. Some of you may not agree with this, but I voted for the so-called Simpson-Bowles proposal about 3 weeks ago in the House.
First, how many of you know what that is? Raise your hands.
Okay.
How many of you support it?
I do.
How many of you oppose it? You're talking to a good group of people.
Yeah, a lot of people in my party think because it restrains Social Security and Medicare a little bit that it's a bad thing, that it's anathema. Look, I understand that we can't get the deficit under control, stop the spending that Michael talked about, if you don't look at the entitlements. So I cast a vote that will give me trouble in a primary someday. But look, if I'm more afraid of losing an election than I am of bankrupting the country, then I think I don't belong here.
Okay, you're nodding your head. You agree with this?
Yes.
Tell me why.
Oh, I would appreciate if everybody really felt that way. But we heard about the frustration, we heard about the polarization, and we heard from the Congress that they're saying that it's the media. Is it really the media?
I don't think it's the media. I think it's us.
Okay.
I mean, it's a really easy thing to blame someone else. We were elected to make these decisions for the country. And if we're not willing to say something that makes our own party a little bit disquieted or risk a vote, then again, I don't think we belong here. That's not Frank's fault. That's our fault for not standing up and casting votes that we should.
This is the first time that I've ever been accused of being part of the media.
I meant it as a compliment.
I took it as an insult.
Yeah, we're not going to get out of the hole that we're in unless people sacrifice something. People are going to have to give some stuff up, whether it's some entitlement issues, whether it's taxes. People have to give stuff up, and nobody in politics wants to tell people they have to give stuff up and sacrifice.
Well, Jay, that's really what this Simpson-Bowles thing was. It really said that Social Security benefits are going to grow a little bit slower. Medicare copay is going to be a little bit higher. Maybe some military spending is going to be cut back. Some people pay a little more in taxes in certain circumstances. That's a great way to lose an election. That punch list I just gave you. But what we're doing right now is a great way to ruin a country. Just spend and print money, and both parties have been guilty of it. If people are unwilling to do what you said, Jay, it's not going to get us anywhere.
Who's dialing him up? Raise your hands.
Can I take you home with me?
No, that'll cause another problem that you don't want.
That's true. That's true.
I have a question about, how can you truly be a representative government if you've been in your office for 20 years? I mean, do you really reflect the people that you're representing? You know something, every 2 years,
Heather, they answer that question. And look, I think you can get stale and you can get tired, and the best antidote to that is a competitive election. I go home, I knock on doors, I go to street fairs, I go to businesses and talk to people. If they think I'm stale and they think I don't belong, every 2 years they've got a chance to do something about that. And I've got to earn their vote every 2 years. But sure, you can get stale. But I think the way to avoid that is to get out with people who are not politicians, listen to what they say, justify your positions, and do the best you can for them.
Yeah, that's the thing about these election cycles. Every 2 years, I feel like the politicians are already talking their minds. Because they're always worried about, the campaign donors and the PR people and the campaign people that they're saying something that's a little off script. It's just in the media, sometimes you feel like you're not really getting the politician what they really have to say.
One thing, I will blame the media for this one. Since you're not part of it, Frank, you don't take this personally, but media coverage of politics is something like coverage of professional wrestling. Whoever the most bizarre and loud is tends to get covered. And if you have a positive idea or do something positive, you're boring. So if you watch the evening news, the people screaming at each other are going to be on there. But the people sitting quietly in a room figuring out how to cut spending or improve education or make the military stronger, you probably don't know their names. Now, again, that's not the media's fault, but I don't want you to get the impression that everybody here is a freak show or everybody here is yelling and screaming at each other. There's a lot of serious people in both parties that are really trying to make the country better.
You know, they call the media the fourth estate, and because we're celebrating independence, I'm just curious. Let's do the second row. Give me a word or phrase to describe the media.
Biased.
Sorry.
Biased.
Showbiz.
Entertaining.
Ratings.
Relentless.
Biased.
And biased.
Well, the good news is there's an institution almost as bad as yours. So what would you tell them as a way to close this, to give them a sense of faith in the future, that we can once again restore what made America great?
Don't vote for anybody who doesn't answer a specific question you ask with a specific answer. If you say to someone, how would you reduce the federal budget? And they say, you know, I love America. The 4th of July is my favorite day of the year. Or if they say, let's find the richest people in America and tax 100% of their income, or let's cut welfare and foreign aid. Those are not serious answers. If you ask a specific question, demand a specific answer. If you don't like the answer, vote for the other guy. But if you don't get a specific answer, don't vote for that person. Because we've let people in my business off the hook. When they say, well, would you reduce the military budget? The answer is either yes or no. If the answer is, would you change the way Medicare operates? The answer is either yes or no or how. Don't let people give vague answers, because vagueness is usually a cover-up for deceit.
Do you guys agree with him?
Yes. Yes.
Would you vote for him?
Yes. Thank you.
Can I suggest you switch districts?
I'm not going to switch districts. I'll switch networks, maybe, huh? No. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you.
Rob Andrews, thank you very much. And when we come back, the 8 Republican House freshmen face down the American people. Stay tuned.